Hello everyone, today we have an interesting cook. It is a star control. So we're looking to use Star You, Star Me for that early game or consistent and flexible damage. So Star Me EX having a 2 energy 90 damage attack is huge, but an even bigger asset that I don't see it really utilized much is that it has a free retreat costs. One of the things that makes Pikachu decks so strong is that all of the retreat costs are so low. And so Starmie EX kind of falls into that same category of being able to be that flexible attacker of like popping out, jumping in, finishing off an attack, switching over into like a lesser Pokemon, like letting them kill off a Meowth or another basic Pokemon, into throwing him back in, her back in, it back in to pump the 90 damage. And then in addition to that, the extra portion of the star control is the Omastar line. So Omastar is a super interesting one that I haven't really seen used much, but is really fun whenever you get it online. I think Omastar is kind of held back by how popular Pikachu is, but if he is against a deck that is either a slow setup style of deck, or something that uses a lot of energy onto one particular Pokemon like Charizard, Arcanine, we have the Dragonite stuff, the Venusaur. Omastar is so incredibly strong with a 3 energy attack that does 70 damage and says during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't attack. This is crazy. And so then the only way that they're going to be able to attack from that point on is, one, you knock out their Pokemon, or they retreat it out in favor of something else. And so that ends up being an issue in and of itself, because if they retreat it out and it's high energy cost or high retreat costs, then you're getting a energy advantage, and it's really hard for them to set up those additional big damage plays while they're having to retreat out every turn to be able to get an attack off. And then in addition to that, we have a Meowth and a Persian. So with this deck, it's either Staryu guaranteed or Meowth guaranteed, because to get the Omastar online, we have to rely on the fossils. And so getting a Meowth early can give us that additional draw to get into the Starmie EX. Getting Starmie EX down early and often can be a make or break for those games where you need a little bit more tempo. So like the Mewtwo stuff, having a Starmie EX can be really pivotal. And then we can also draw into the resources we need for the Omastar line. Now, Persian is probably not necessary. You could probably honestly just rely on a single Meowth, but I like the double Meowth so that it's a 50-50 of getting Staryu on the start or Meowth. And then Persian is just a kind of interesting flair for me. I really like the idea of being able to make the opponent discard their evolution line. So if you hit heads and you make them discard their Dragonite, a lot of times that's just going to be an immediate win rather than them still being in the fight somewhat. And so I like the Persian. It's very much probably inoptimal. You could take it out for a potion. You could take it out for an additional Sabrina. Probably not Giovanni, because we do enough damage and enough stall that we don't really need him. But you could do another Sabrina if you really felt the need to. But I really like the idea of Persian. It didn't really do much for me in this run, other than let me evolve the Meowth that was already on the board to be outside of that KO range while he was on the back line. And so I guess that is, it's not nothing. But overall, the deck is super interesting, super fun. It probably struggles against Pikachu. In my run, I didn't run into any. But if you run into Pikachu, you're probably disadvantaged. And so you probably give it your best shot, but ultimately I think you retreat out and then rinse and repeat. Just because the electric deck has so cheap of retreat costs, they can take out whatever you use your Omastar on and then put something else in, and he can already be ramped up and ready to attack. So we're going to go ahead and keep the deck explanation relatively short. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. I very much appreciate everybody that is starting to show up on this channel. I'm having so much fun with the game, and I'm so glad that I can share that with you guys. We're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. I hope you guys enjoy. And then I'm going to attack one more turn with the Meowth. We're going to go down to 6 cards on our second attacking turn. So the extra Staryu, we could build up another Starmie EX, which is kind of nice for those retreat costs and just having 2 big attackers down that could pretty easily be interchangeable. But the execute, whoa, I feel like they are overzealous on the grass cards here. Fine. They do have the Ivysaur that's being built up. Ooh, and another Professor's Research. We're going to go down to almost 0 cards here in our deck. Do we ever go Persian? Persian doesn't feel awful. We have Misty for next turn. Or we just start major attacking now. Like Persian's cool if we hit if we hit the heads, and if we hit the Venusaur or big behemoth that they need. Otherwise, we could go Starmie. We retreat out the Meowth. You've done your job. Our deck is as thin as it could possibly be. Let's go ahead and... I think I'm actually going to keep the other fossil. I was thinking we could discard it and then build up another Starmie EX. I'm not sure we would want to. All right, we're going to go ahead and attack with Hydro Splash, knock out the Petlil, and then they could throw Venusaur online here. They've been able to get through a good portion of their deck, but they throw Execute. Oof. And Pokeball to draw in. They're getting very thin in their deck. I would imagine if they have Venusaur, they would want to use it here. They have Butterfree. It feels crazy that they don't have their evolution line. Caterpie. Oh, wow. They're going to continue to dig through their deck. Execute in the back line. Wild. Okay, they're phoning a friend here. Their hand is pretty low. I always like the option of Persian. I don't think that's the answer for us, but I like the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and throw Persian just so that they know we have it. And we can apply that pressure. Let's go with the Misty evolution here. Not the Misty evolution, my goodness. We're gonna get at least 1 heads. 1 heads is all we need. We failed the last 2. So Gambler's Mentality tells me that this one is gonna be a hit. Okay, 2 and 1. That allows us to have the Omastar fully up and online. And so now we could build out another Starmie EX. We could wait until we get Omnity, which is one of our bottom 2. Go ahead and go Hydro Splash. And so they put in Ivysaur, which turns into Venusaur. They put in Butterfree. They get some massive healing. But the big upside, or the positive here, is that Omastar is going to control this late game for us. They do get the Butterfree line. They do get the Venusaur line. Luckily, they don't have their big giant bloom attack. They just have Razor Leaf right now, which is fine. We're fine with Razor Leaf. And then we get another Misty. We could do Sabrina, but instead we're going to do a free retreat cost, which is crazy to me that any card has a free retreat. So into the Helix fossil here, we're going to save just about everything else. And then we hit them with an Ancient Whirlpool. And so now Venusaur cannot attack. And they're kind of just at our mercy. They have to retreat it out to be able to get an attack down. And it's going to cost them a lot of energy every single time that they do it. And so it becomes very frustrating with an Omastar late game, especially this is probably the ideal deck that we want to go against. It is big. It is high retreat costs. It doesn't do as much against something like a Pikachu deck whose retreat costs are almost non-existent versus this one where we have double 3 cost retreats. It is tough to deal with. And so now the Venusaur in the back line, he's there. They are going to go with the Executor, and they get heads. I feel like more often than not, I do not get heads there. But that is big for them. Also, big but is they can't attack. Let's go Misty just for the giggles. And I think we probably get a retreat unless they're gearing up for the 30-round timer to try to like force a draw. Misty hits when she doesn't necessarily need to, but she does hit with the 1-in-1. And then we have the Omni-T fully up and going as well. Ancient Whirlpool, going to make sure that they cannot attack here. And like we're free to kind of just do whatever we want. We could retreat this guy out into the Starmie EX. And then we could finish off the Executor EX. And their Venusaur is not built up. Oh my goodness. That was, as far as ideal games go, that is the ideal prime example for an Omastar. Being able to make sure that their big, hefty retreat cost cards cannot do what they need to do. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right. So we start with our Meowth. We also have Staryu. So we could have done that if we were feeling lucky about getting... Ooh... You don't see Meowth very often. So it's interesting that we both have one here. They have the electric energy, so I'm guessing this is a Dragonite deck. A Pikachu deck wouldn't ever need Meowth as a draw mechanic. So the only thing I could imagine is that this is a Dragonite deck of sorts. There is the Dratini. We have double Omni-T here. Let's go Professor's Research. We will be able to draw with Meowth as well. Okay, Fossil, beautiful. We have the entirety of the Omastar evolution line if we want to try and get that up early. Now, the good thing here is that against a Dragonite, we can force them into not being able to attack with the Dragonite line, which is so much of their power. A lot of times it takes so long. It has a hefty retreat cost. Similar to the Venusaur we faced last turn. They get him built up, they get him online, and then we stall and freeze him out, which is beautiful to see. I hope we're able to get it built up to that point. So down to 11 cards already. We go Omni-T Evolution, and then we'll see. Unless we get Persian. Persian, we might just have a good giggle. But we do not. So let's go ahead and throw, I guess, Staryu down. Go Omni-T. Next turn would be Omastar. I think we've tried to build him up sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and do that. Payday will draw us into our additional card here. And they're getting their card draw as well. And so Starmie EX, great for the free retreat cost. We can kind of maneuver them around strategically. And then they're like a big hitter, while Omni-T comes in as that freeze unit for us later in the game. So they get Dragonite down, we pivot into the Omastar, and then just kind of go to town from there. They're just now starting to build up Dragonite, so they do have the evolution, which with that much card draw, of course, you have the evolution. We don't get anything with the Pokeball here. Go with the Omastar. I'm going to throw the Pokeball just as that protection against a red card. And then we build up into Omastar starting next turn. So even without Misty here, we're going to go into our bottom 7, bottom 6 by the time we draw again. And so there is the Misty line. More often than not, Misty doesn't do anything for me. Those games where she does do something, sometimes it is make or break. Interesting, they went with a double Dragonite line. And so here we could actually throw in a Sabrina, and we're going to ice the one out. It's either Sabrina or Misty. I don't know which one we want to go with. But kind of interesting that they did build up a double Dragonite, because most of the time it's not worth it. You're really only going to get energy onto one, and so the other one ends up just being a waste of evolution cards, a waste of, like, it serves as a tank spot, essentially. Okay, let's go ahead and pull back the Meowth. I'm going to save my Sabrina since we only have one copy. I'm going to save the Sabrina for when we most need it. Do we go Misty here as well? Just for giggles. See if we get the Starmie EX online. Do that or we draw into like the rest of our deck, but we'll go Misty. See if Misty serves us. This time we're not relying on it. We don't need it to stay alive, so I'm sure she's going to hit crazy. No, okay. I had to gaslight her into showing us a Tails. Let's go with the Ancient Whirlpool. They don't have this Dragonite built up just quite yet. A big Dragonite could potentially be problematic. But what I'm going to do is we're going to throw in Sabrina this next turn. We're going to force them into the one that they are building up. And then he's going to be iced out. It's going to be so satisfying. They're not going to be able to do anything. Now, this deck can struggle against those those faster decks, those tempo, those aggro decks. But against something like Dragonite, this is Dragonite, Venusaur, this is the bread and butter. They have Zapdos EX in their deck as well. Interesting choice with all of that electric need here. Interesting choice. That does, however, save them from the Sabrina line, unfortunately. So we're worried about the Dragonite in the back line because now we can't Sabrina and force them to switch it out. This has a cheap retreat cost. They do hit us with a red card. So we have a really good chance of drawing those same cards once again. And there's the Pokeball. Wow. Okay. And so the Meowth is also protecting against the Sabrina. Pokédex. Interesting. They get to see their last few cards. I don't see a great use for Pokédex. Just in general. Bottom 6 now. A Pokeball as well. And then Professor's Research. Ooh, we did get to draw a Meowth. I didn't think Pokeball was going to hit anything there. So now it'll be the bottom 3. We get back into the Sabrina. We have the Fossil into the extra Omastar line, which now that I'm looking at it, maybe we should have went with for that extra protection to make sure we could lock the Dragonite down. Hopefully we don't need it. We'll see. One Misty in the bottom 3. Okay, right now, Dragonite can't attack, so if the next one is also water, they're in such a tough spot. Because they need at least one electric, and they have not been able to find one for the longest time. Also a big drawback of dual-type decks. Super unfortunate. We need the Starmie EX evolution here, but more ideally, we get a Misty, and we can build up this guy's energy so that we can pull him back, throw in the Starmie, and then have him ready to attack that follow-up turn. That way we can knock out the Dragonite, and they're stalled for a line. Or stalled for a turn still. There's the Misty. Beautiful. Exactly what we wanted to see. The 1 out of 3. We need any heads. All right, so we did not get it. My whole PC crashed. We did get Tails on Misty, unfortunately, and I actually timed out the entire turn. So I didn't attach an energy. I didn't attack, unfortunately. So it's going to come down to them getting at least one attack off with Dragonite here. And we have to hope that it does not wipe out our Omastar. That is our only chance here. We are going to have the Starmie evolution here. And so all of our Pokemon are going to be really deeply outside of that one-hit KO range. And so I don't think they'd be able to get a single destruction, like just an all-out wipe. But they could potentially wipe out Omastar if they are lucky enough. And so let's go here. You know what? I'm going to keep him out in the front line since it didn't matter at this point anyways. We are going to attach that extra energy in case we need to, I guess, in case we need to retreat out at any point. But let's go ahead and Ancient Whirlpool. We still have them in a lock. I had to do an entire computer reset. I guess that's what I get for leaving my computer up overnight last night. I'm guessing it was like a memory leak on one of the many Chrome browsers I have. So, ooh, they go Sabrina, but honestly, Sabrina is not a not a big concern here. We have double free retreat cost, and so it's not an issue like interweaving those. Now, it all comes down to this Dragonite flip. They could eventually pull out the Dragonite here. Interesting. We lose our Persian, but nothing else. And so now we can build up another Omastar. Okay, let's go Fossil here. And we will build up this Fossil. Let's retreat this guy into the Omastar line. We're going to make it where Dragonite can no longer attack next turn. And then they're going to retreat him out, lose a lot of that energy. I guess they couldn't do the big attack on Zapdos here because they need 3 electric energy. And so they're going to have to wait at least until next turn to be able to do that. But we have the 90 damage. So even with that flip-flop, they wouldn't be able to stop us from like throwing in the Starmie EX. So double X speed. So they're trying to conserve the energy on their Dragonite. Little do they know, we're sitting on a Sabrina. I think we can throw it. Once he's in the back line, they either bring him back out and sacrifice him, or bring the Meowth back out and sacrifice him. Either way, we have the win on lock. The Omastar is a bit too oppressive late game. You are weak to the zap. The Omastar is a bit too oppressive late game. I'm going to go ahead and attach onto here for giggles. And then we throw in the Sabrina. And I think we see the concede come down. There's the Dragonite. Let's go ahead and retreat this guy out into the Starmie. We finish him off with that big bursty backline Starmie EX. The like agility of this card is crazy. We will take the win. Very drawn out, very up and down because we did have the computer crash, but we'll find the win nonetheless. Another perfect example of where Omastar can really shine. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Snack Bar, and we get Tails here, so we do get to go second. The only time I am ecstatic to see the Tails come up. We do get Persian, so we are potentially able to curve into like a Meowth into Persian, which I think could be fun. We're going to attack with the Meowth, and then I think they probably skip with the Mankey. Maybe they go into the evolution right away. Ooh, if they go into the evolution right away, they could cook us. But we'll see. They have the Cubone, Pokeball to let them draw a little bit. Go Pokeball as well. We get the Star U guaranteed here. So now we have that evolution into the Starmie EX line that we need to see. Instead of going Persian, we could potentially go and start focusing on the Staryu or the Starmie EX. For this one, let's go ahead and place out the Meow. We're going to allow the extra card draw, and then they have a decision to make. If they go with the Mankey evolution, they won't be able to attack that turn. And so then it'd be kind of like a sitting target. If we got lucky with our Misty, we could potentially take out the Mankey and force a retreat right off the jump. And so there is that, the second Mankey. Okay, so no evolution. Very interesting. We almost lose our Meowth, but not quite. Let's go Starmie EX. Before we decide on anything else, let's go Misty here. Let's see if Misty is going to be on our side or if it's going to be a miss. There's the heads. Beautiful. 3 and 1. I feel like she misses every probably 3 out of 4 times, but the time that she hits is usually pretty impactful. So we don't need to add any energy onto the Omastar. Oh, Starmie, my goodness. Let's go Persian here into the energized version, and then we're going to do Shadow Claw, see if we can make them maybe discard a Cubone or something good here. I don't know. We're going to see. We probably could have retreated out and protected that token cost, but knowing that we can throw into Starmie into like that instant kill is a great feeling. We do miss the discard component. Oh, well, that's all right. We don't need it. It's just an added kind of flair or jazz. So Mankey coming in. Mankey by himself can knock out the Persian. That's fine. If they go with the Primeape evolution, then we wouldn't be able to one-hit KO the Primeape, I don't believe, with the Starmie stuff. X-Speed into Marowak EX. Ooh, Marowak EX could be deadly. Actually, regular Marowak, they can attack. EX, they would not be able to attack here. Okay, so the Cubone, interesting. Let's go ahead and pull out the Persian here. We'll retreat him out for the Starmie EX. I'm going to go ahead and throw our energy onto the Persian just in case we ever throw him back out. He can attack. Not likely. And this deck, it doesn't look like it's dependent on stage 2. Decks that look like they're dependent on stage 2, Persian can have a little bit more luck to be able to really get online. But even without it, the speed of Starmie EX takes them out before they can even get going. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have El Zujito. We are going second. We don't have Meowth this time around. We do have a Misty start, and they have a Mewtwo. So we're going to need to find Starmie EX here pretty quickly, or be able to get the Omastar online, or even the Persian to make them discard the Gardevoir stuff. Could be an interesting turn of events. Wow, they hit us with a red card off the jump. Rude. So now we're down a card. Not the worst thing in the world, but we are down a card. We get Misty back, which is great to see, and Professor's Research here. Now, Misty doesn't do us any good. Because it's not like a make or break turn. So I'm going to use the Professor's Research instead. Let's get the Helix Fossil down. We get Persian back again, but no Meowth. So let's go ahead and start pumping a little bit of damage here. Ideally, we find Starmie EX. We'll get down to our the bottom half of our deck on next turn. We have 2 chances to pull into. Wow. And the Kirlia. This is slowly becoming one of the more frustrating decks to fight against, because if they have that curve of the Kirlia into the Gardevoir on curve with the Mewtwo EX, it is almost unstoppable what it can do. We do get the Starmie EX, but we can't retreat this guy out. We have to discard him. You know what? It's fine. We're going to get rid of the fossil. Let's go Professor's Research here. Pokeball, we get a backup fossil, which is beautiful to see. And we get to pull either a Staryu or Meowth out of our deck. Also beautiful to see here. Let's go with the Helix Fossil to protect from the Misty, or not the Misty, the Sabrina shenanigans. Get rid of Helix Fossil. We have the 90 damage dealer up and running early, and that is one of our biggest ways to win this matchup. So even if they have the Gardevoir, they won't be able to do their big side drive attack on the follow-up turn. They do have the Gardevoir. My goodness, the speed of this deck and then they have Giovanni, so they're going to be smacking us for a 60 here. But they're very low on cards. They have the Gardevoir, which is great, but we get it early enough that it is not going to completely derail us. Now, if they have a second Giovanni, a second Giovanni could be treacherous here, right? Because they could knock out our Starmie EX on this follow-up turn with the 60 damage. I guess what we can do, let's go ahead and do Misty, but even without the Misty, we have 40 damage base from Omni-T. Let's go ahead and see. Nah, it's a Tails. All right. We had a really good one the last Misty we threw, so I expect the next several to be bad. Let's go ahead and do the free retreat out on Starmie EX, as long as we can guarantee that Omni-T is going to destroy him with our 40 power base attack. It would have been great to see a at least one energy, so we could have the no attack up next turn. That's fine. We don't, I guess, necessarily need it. It just would have been nice to see. So if we evolve into Omastar, whoa, they go with a Sabrina. And so we're going to give them the free Meowth. That's fine. We can sacrifice that. They don't have any prize tokens on us. And so we're going to let them have the destruction if they want it. And then we throw into, ooh, actually, I guess if they have Giovanni, could be problematic. That's their second Sabrina, though. 2 second Sabrina, so that's good. It feels strange, but I think we're just gonna go Water Gun here. Next turn, we could either go Omastar or swap in for the 90 damage of Starmie EX. What we're playing against here is the potential Giovanni, because we know that this deck typically runs 2, and we don't want to be caught. There is the Giovanni, so we had the call correct. We read them like a book. We needed to not have Starmie EX down, because that would have given them their final 2 points of damage. Beautiful to see. You'll love to see it. And so now they used all of their remaining stuff. We can evolve into the Omastar if we want to, but instead I'm just going to be humble, be grateful. We're going to throw in the Starmie EX and end it right here, right now. One of those that they had the Gardevoir evolution on curve, but we got lucky enough with Starmie, and Starmie is one of the best early game damage dealers. So on those games where you're not necessarily able to stall it till late game for the Omastar, sometimes Starmie EX is going to come in and just clean house. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Slowpoke. We are going second because we flip a Tails here. So now, let's start with Meowth for the extra card draw. We have the Staryu. We do have Misty. If we were going first, I would probably have led with Staryu, since we could throw the Misty and potentially get an attack on 1. Since we're going second, I'd rather get the card draw from Meowth here. Now, the Articuno and then backup Articuno, they start... Oh, no. Don't end our 6-win streak here with a bad Misty. Whew. You'll love to see when Misty fails for the opponent. You hate to see it when it fails for you. But I'm glad. I'm glad that it did not pay off for him. Whew. Did they leave? Hello? Thank you. Next up, we have Snorlax. We get heads, so we are going to go first. This would be one of the times where we wanted to see Misty and a water Pokemon, just to potentially get a little bit of edge on being able to attack them early, but that's okay. And so Ralts and Mewtwo, we are going against a behemoth here. Let's see if we're able to hold it down. We get double Professor's Research, so a red card could be problematic. Let's go Staryu. Do we try to make them burn their red card? I'm going to go ahead and do Professor's Research. It might have been better to hold it. Oh, actually, we get to play both of those, and so it won't matter. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. And so now if they do use red card, we're shuffling in 3, we're drawing out 3. And so odds are it'll help us a touch. They are going to start building up their Mewtwo in the back line. Into the Sabrina, okay. We go Helix Fossil or Staryu. Let's go Staryu here. Omni-T, okay, so Omni-T is online. Could have done 40 right off the jump, which would have been nice to see. Let's go Professor's Research. There's a small chance that we get Starmie EX here. No. We get another Omni-T, though. Starmie EX, we would have retreated out the Staryu for the 40 power attacker of the water gun here to start peppering the opponent early. But since we don't get that, let's go Staryu. We're down to our bottom 8 cards because we've had both of our Professor's Research. So odds are they'll want to retreat out the Ralts, especially if they have the evolution stuff for them. Wow, Kirlia, beautiful. And so X-Speed? Yeah, X-Speed makes a lot of sense. No, and they can do the 50 damage attack. Yeah, we're done. We're cooked. We're toast. We are out of here, unfortunately. Our best bet would be Omastar. Not a great one. Go Meowth. And we're not going to attack with them. We're going to start building up the Omni-T here. We're soon to be Omastar. Go ahead and burn a Sabrina, because we're needing to stall. We're needing to stall for time here. And maybe this will do it. Wow, the second X speed already? Oh, man. So if they that doesn't stall them at all, then the only way we have a chance here is to draw into one of our 2 Misties. Man, they had all of the tools they needed, which is super unfortunate, but it's going to happen. Our only shot now is a Misty draw. We have 2 out of 7 chance. Misty, the dream is alive? No. Okay, I'm going to be so disappointed whenever this hits just a whiff. But the dream is alive. We could potentially stall them out this turn. We just need 1 heads. 1 heads from Misty. And then we are in a much better spot. I wouldn't say we're out of the woods, but we're in a much better spot. We need you not to fail us, Misty. Oh, you never rely on Misty. All right, we're gonna end this one. That is sad. We could have made it where they couldn't attack. We'd have the 70. They would have time to draw, but the extra 70 potentially stalling until we get into our Starmie EX. Happens. But super unfavorable match. They had great draws, and we still almost found a way to be involved and be in there. We just didn't quite get it in time. We'll take the loss. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, we do get heads here. And so we go first. We have the Staryu and the Misty line. So pulling into a Starmie EX could devastate him, or just starting to pepper that Growlithe on turn 1 could be crazy strong. There is the Starmie EX. Okay. So you guys just saw Misty fail me. You saw it just fail on the last game. It could have given us a shot against the Mewtwo. If ever there was an opportunity for Misty to come in clutch, it's against a fire deck. Like, you're advantaged. Go ahead and give us at least 1 heads here. Beautiful. Let's go. 2 and 1 will take the early damage, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very early retreat. Because coming in next turn is going to be the Starmie EX, and we're just going to be slapping 110s. against everything that they want to do. Of course, we wouldn't be able to do that against the, the Moltres, but we will take the redemption from Misty. She came back. She did what she needed to do. Not against the Mewtwo. That's fine. You get nervous against Mewtwo. He's a very intimidating presence. We're going to go ahead and end the video there. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.